Disney-centered outlets have been reporting on the DAS situation at Disney, where Disney is denying disability access, or their traditional disability access, to customers who have been receiving that access for years. Well, now the LA Times is finally getting in and raising their voices up into the stratosphere. Let's talk about the changing climate at Disney and whether or not they will finally change their disability access program here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is theme park expert, Mr. VashSky. Vash, are you ready to talk about one of the most controversial Disney changes that has been made in recent months?
Oh yeah, I am ready. Just spoke actually with Marty Snyder, who was definitely an authority in this subject, I would say. Got some additional information to share with y'all, so hopefully I can be of some use here when talking about this very, very delicate topic, I'll say.
It is a delicate topic, but I'm starting to lose my patience with Disney. Not that there's any consequence to me losing my patience. It's the people who need DAS that are losing their patience here. This from the LA Times. Out there in California, Disney no longer magical to guests denied disability access service. Disney fan Rosie Kaiser stands for a portrait among curios in her Northridge home. Kaiser suffers from multiple sclerosis and recently received a Disneyland Disability Access Service pass. Well, she's one of the few who has done that. This story from Andrew J. Campa. 8-year-old Noah Rowland lasted less than 2 hours inside Disney World's Magic Kingdom one June afternoon before suffering an autistic meltdown. Days earlier, he was denied Disney's Disability Access Service Pass, intended to help disabled individuals wait for rides outside of long lines. This is fascinating to me, Vash, because as I understand it, DAS was changed not that long ago, and now there's an interview process in order to get it. And
Yep.
What we've been hearing is that mostly adults are not getting it, and only children with developmental disabilities are getting the service. So it sounds like Noah Rowland, and I'm not a medical doctor when I say this, and I'm definitely not the person who approves it for Disney. Noah Rowland here, 8 years old with autism, would probably be one of the people who qualifies, but it sounds like even he's not qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, the qualifications, from what we understand, are very, very limited. And here's the other thing, Jonas, about this. I would agree with you that usually it's geared towards kids, small children, etc., or maybe even adults in that manner. But, Disney at first said, hey, we're going to partner with Advent Health in order to make these decisions. But I'm hearing from a myriad of sources, including Marty himself. We've got some coverage over there on That Pod Place talking about this in greater depth with his personal experience, that is. And he was suggesting that that the staff making these decisions, at least on site, maybe that this is different on the virtual calls, but at least on site, they didn't really have any medical knowledge to speak of. Now, remember, Disney was touting that, oh, yeah, we're partnering with Advent Health in order to help make these decisions on behalf of cast members. That doesn't quite seem to be the case. And the qualifications, well, they get more confusing as more information leaks out about their qualification metrics.
That's a very good point. And we'll also point out when someone is denied access, it seems that they're being told things like practice standing in line at home, which is a fascinating thing to tell someone who is disabled or considers themselves disabled or qualifies as disabled in most circumstances, but for some reason under Disney system does not qualify as disabled. It's kind of confounding to guests, and it's an area where Disney used to be the leader in this kind of communication, and now guests seem to be just confused. Let's continue on. Northridge resident Rosie Kaiser, who lives with multiple sclerosis, teared up outside the entrance lines of Disneyland Resort in July. She had been approved for the pass, but only after answering several intrusive health questions. Lifelong Disney fan Farah Evaguas, forgive me on that name, battling stage 4 small bowel adenocarcinoma, spent 14 hours in 2 separate online interviews hoping Disney would approve her pass. She was denied twice. 14 hours. Why does the process take 14 hours? First of all, denied twice for 14 hours. Averaging that out, that is 2 full work days, and still denied. This is why this process needs to be clearer here. Right here. What if this is a person who is trying to work and make a living, and should she have to give up 2 days of income in order to be denied twice, only to be told, why don't you pay for Lightning Lane at $35 a pop, or the new Lightning Lane premium service, which is coming around the bend, which might be even more on top of that. Forgive the sarcasm there.
Well, and Lightning Lane isn't at all and end all be all. You know, in Marty's instance, it was interesting talking to him because he was like, "Look, listen, the person that we were attempting to get DAS for can't even necessarily go on all the attractions that are covered by Lightning Lane, so it might be a waste. But the particular attractions that person was interested in aren't even covered by Lightning Lane itself. So I think they were there for 3 days, only went on 5 rides in total because of the challenges of that individual and how they weren't necessarily covered by Disney not providing DAS access. It was a heartbreaking story, a heart-wrenching story, and to see this where people are on hold for 7 hours, 14 hours collectively in order to be told no. This article actually details how you have to actually beg for this service and how it's very interesting. If you're doing it on site, you kind of have to do this in public as well. So it's a very demeaning process because you're doing it alongside people at the ticket booths, let's say, at the entrance of Disneyland. It's a terrible process. And the way that Disney's handled this has been nothing short of shocking. And here's the thing, Jonas, we all know why they're doing this. The leaks from the Wall Street Journal detail very specifically that Disney may have made as much as $724 million off the Lightning Lane service since it debuted in October of 2021. That's your 724 million reasons as to why this process exists the way it does.
You're absolutely correct here. Here's a great line. Some feel betrayed by the company known for its inclusivity and are reconsidering patronizing its parks. This is one of those situations where Disney, again, used to be the leader in this space. They were well known. You think about, like, they're not the same thing, but you think about how involved Disney has been with Make-A-Wish, for instance, and it is, again, not the same, but there is an overlap in public perception between these two services here. And I'm not trying to turn disabled people into some holier segment of the population, but there are people that need help in this world. It's the entire reason that the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, because there are those among us who do need help. And Disney used to be one of those companies that would lead the way and show other companies how it's done. If you go over to Universal, Universal does not have a perfect system, but they at least have a clear system. You go through a third-party provider, you get approval, and then you have to go to Universal, and they will approve you there on the day. There don't seem to be surprises in that system. But now Disney, a company that, again, known for its inclusivity, is rejecting the people that I'm going to say this is a crowd that particularly enjoys Disney, coming from a crowd that particularly enjoys Disney myself. I don't understand this blind spot in Disney communication at this point.
I don't get it either. It used to be, like you said, gold standard when it came to these things, and now it's like a mentality change within the company. What can we get away with? Seems to be the motto of the day.
Right. They're so desperate that they just need anything that will raise the bottom line here. What is the Disability Access Pass? The DAS Pass, created in 2013. By the way, this was after GAC was being abused by some guests who were renting themselves out in order to skip the line. Allows Disney and Disney World users to avoid standby lines. A pass holder registers on the park app or with a guest relations member for a specific ride and is given a return time. Other park goers pay extra, up to $35, to join the Lightning Lane with normal wait times of 5 to 25 minutes. Interesting. I'm not sure I would agree with that timing. According to various bloggers who track times, DAS pass holders can use the Lightning Lanes for free. That can mean a drastic difference in wait times for some rides. Disneyland guests wanting a DAS pass can speak online with a park representative 2 to 30 days before arrival, or they can meet with a guest relations employee at the parks. Vash, I don't have confirmation on this yet, but do you already have to have your ticket before you can do a DAS interview?
I haven't confirmed that myself, actually, because I've been trying to get clarification on that issue, because the issue with with that part of it is that these tickets are non-refundable, non-transferable. So if you have to buy into a system before you can even apply, that obviously changes the game tremendously. It should be noted as well, too. Remember that Lightning Lane cost is not just for the person, it's for the entire party. Remember, DAS, the way it worked was it was good for the guest plus 5. Well, now, if you have that same party size and that guest is not given a DAS pass, well, now that's as much as $35 times 6. So there's a big disparity here in terms of what they would provide for DAS recipients and what they're kind of expecting them to do if they don't actually qualify this time around.
Very good. And then here's some of Disney's response here. Disneyland spokesperson said changes to DAS were necessary because of overuse. The company said pass usage had tripled since 2019. I do believe that is the first official confirmation of what other sites have been reporting here, and we've passed along. The spokesperson, who asked not to be named, I'll bet, said the DAS Pass was just one of several accommodations Disney offers, but would not comment on whether the company felt the system was being abused. The changes, which went into effect May 20th at Disney World and June 18th at Disneyland, reduced eligibility. The accommodation is for a small percentage of guests who, due to a developmental disability like autism or similar, are unable to wait in conventional queue for an extended period of time, according to Disney's new guidelines. Previous standards were much broader. Guests who have a difficulty tolerating extended waits in a conventional queue environment due to a disability. Here's a great quote from the DAS defenders. By excluding many disabled individuals from these cherished experiences, Disney sends a clear message that the rights and needs of the disabled community can be overlooked. The group wrote in the petition, which has 31,000 signatures. I'm actually surprised it's that low at this point. A Disney spokesperson said other accommodations exist to meet the needs of guests who have disabilities but are rejected for the pass. According to the park's website, those include a sensory experience guide to indicate which parts of the park have loud noises, darkness, and bumpiness, which rides are fast, and which lift off the ground. Disney also offers sign language interpreters, wheelchair and scooter rentals, assistive handheld captioning, and video captioning on some rides, and dialogue and narration of scripts on others. Park accommodations also include allowing a stroller to carry a disability tag that permits it to be pushed through the standby lines. Otherwise, strollers have to be parked while riders stand in queue.
Right. Yeah, they got some pushback on that stroller problem there. That was a very interesting thing. Also, too, the wheelchairs and scooters. Yeah, that's if you can get one, because they usually sell out pretty quickly. And also, too, they're not free. Like an electric wheelchair via Disney costs as much as, I believe, $75 to $95, if I'm not mistaken. So
for now,
accommodations, yes, but
just wait for the Lightning Lane on that one. Of course, we want to throw this to our commenters. Apparently, there's a lot of people who appreciate us covering DAS. I think that's something that that is very clear. Both sides of the very divided Disney fan base these days seem to agree that Disney has dropped the ball here when it comes to DAS, and that Lightning Lane is probably to blame. Lightning Lane, which is a new profit center for a company that really needs some profit centers. I'm not saying they're justified, but would love to know everyone's thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Like this video, of course, if you found it helpful in any way, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.